Here's your wrestling news for October 15th, 2020. And your headlines for today include: Paul Heyman shares breaking news about Brock Lesnar. John Cena marries longtime girlfriend Shay Shariatzadeh, Cena's future plans revealed. WWE called out for using stock fan footage in Capitol Wrestling Center during NXT. AEW booked major matches. Reason for Andrade's downfall revealed. Is WWE planning to send him to NXT? Why is he undergoing surgery now? Roman Reigns doesn't think Braun Strowman deserves a title shot this Friday. Major news on Ronda Rousey's return. Gene Snitsky reveals shocking information about Stephanie McMahon, and more. We are kicking off today with Paul Heyman news. As though he's doing big things on SmackDown with Roman Reigns, the special counsel took the time this week to appear on Ariel Helwani's MMA show, where he was his honest and outspoken self. Given that it was an MMA show, Heyman was asked about Brock Lesnar and his status with WWE, as well as a potential return to the Octagon for the former Universal Champion. Their conversation went like this: Helwani: true or false, Brock Lesnar is still under contract with WWE? Heyman: false. Helwani: true or false, Brock Lesnar is currently a free agent? Heyman: true. Helwani: true or false, Brock Lesnar will fight again for the UFC? Heyman: I don't know, that's up to you. You know, here's the breaking news, and whether it is you watch Fox News or CNN or NBC or whatever news channel you watch, they always have this scroll at the bottom: breaking news. And this is the same breaking news since Brock Lesnar walked onto the mat and became the NCAA Division I champion in the year 2000. And here's your soundbite: Brock Lesnar does whatever Brock Lesnar wants to do. And that's what Brock Lesnar will do. And if you don't believe me, go back and find the unedited clip of his promo from UFC 100, because there's no controlling Brock Lesnar, and there is no directing or navigating Brock Lesnar's path. There is only holding on to his coattails and enjoying the ride while you can, because Brock Lesnar does whatever the hell Brock Lesnar wants to do. When asked, Heyman gave 3 reasons why he doesn't think Lesnar won't return to MMA, saying that there's enough money to convince Brock to come back, and he's not sure what would entice him to do so. His 3rd reason is that Lesnar has already had a UFC return, where he competed at UFC 200 against Mark Hunt, and said that the Beast had scratched that itch. Of course, if Lesnar did return to MMA, that would mean serious questions about his WWE return, and fans would probably be wondering if his time in the ring was over. Heyman also explained that Lesnar is happy right now, both away from the Octagon and the Squared Circle, and gave a glimpse into Brock's personal life, saying, "It all depends if there's a worthy challenge and a box office appeal for Brock. Brock Lesnar loves being a farmer, he really does, and he enjoys fatherhood tremendously. And it's not something that he discussed much in public, but he really is a magnificent father to his children, and a great family man, and he loves being a farmer. Right now, he's happy being a farmer. If there is something that WWE or the world of sports entertainment can offer Brock Lesnar that intrigues Brock Lesnar, that motivates Brock Lesnar, that inspires Brock Lesnar, that Brock Lesnar can look at and say, I aspire to rise to that occasion, and the money is right, the business is solid, I'm sure Brock Lesnar would be willing to do it. At this moment, it hasn't happened because it's not there. Again, the world changes like that. It could be tomorrow that Brock Lesnar says, oh, that intrigues me because again, and it's not just a soundbite, Brock Lesnar does whatever Brock Lesnar wants to do. Lesnar hasn't been on WWE TV since his WrestleMania 36 loss to Drew McIntyre, which is when his contract expired, and there's been no update on how talks with WWE are going, if they're happening at all. Now, alongside Roman Reigns, Heyman said that the stars aligned perfectly to put them together, noting that Reigns was returning, Lesnar leaving, and him needing a new role after being removed as executive director allowed WWE to pull the trigger on a Roman heel turn. But what do you think? Do you think Lesnar should return? And how would that affect Heyman's position with Reigns? Leave your views in the comments below. We've got some huge John Cena news next, as the 16-time world champion is now a married man. According to PW Insider, Cena and Shay Shariatzadeh had a private wedding on Tuesday, October 12th in Tampa, and multiple sources have confirmed this. The couple went public with their relationship in March 2019 when the two met while Cena was filming a movie in Canada, and they got engaged earlier this year. The marriage license between the two was issued on October 9th, and they swore it into oath on October 12th, according to Heel by Nature. This year has been difficult to say the least, so it's great to see positive stories like this, and we'd like to send our congrats to Mr. and Mrs. Cena at this happy time. More Cena news next, as it's no secret that he loves cars, and now the Doctor of Thugonomics is the new voice of Honda. On Twitter, Cena broke his huge news and included the first commercial featuring his distinct voice as part of a campaign that encourages people to rise to the challenge. The last time fans saw Cena, he was competing against Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 36, and though we're not sure if the originally planned Lars Sullivan match is still on the table now that the Freak's back, Cena is clearly doing big things out of the ring. Back to the ring next, and much like the Thunderdome, the Capitol Wrestling Center has screens to show fans in the venue, despite never asking fans to register to be seen on TV. Apparently, when fans sit in for a WWE show at the Thunderdome, they give the company the right to use their image however they see fit, and this applies even after the show has aired. This week, one fan called out WWE for using her during NXT, as she not only wasn't watching the gold brand at the time, but she was watching AEW Dynamite instead. The fact that WWE are using stock footage explains why the CWC has screens like the Thunderdome, but never gave fans a chance to register to be seen on the show. We'll have to see if this trend of using old footage of fans continues, but it's likely to remain WWE's method to keep virtual fans around the ring at the center unless they open up registration. Over to AEW next, as Orange Cassidy took AEW TNT champion Cody Rhodes to the limit this week, with their TNT title match ending in a time limit draw. Now it's been confirmed that the freshly squeezed one will get another shot, and this will happen on the October 28th Dynamite. Before then, though, AEW has a stacked show for next week, as the October 21st show will see a huge #1 contenders match take place. The match will see Private Party, the Dark Order's Silver and Reynolds, the Butcher and the Blade, and the Young Bucks face off, with the winning team earning an AEW Tag Team title match at November 7th's Full Gear. Speaking of Full Gear, the TNT title will be on the line at the show, and we know that Darby Allin will be challenging. This was confirmed during this week's TNT title match on Dynamite, and we'll have to see if Allin is facing Rhodes or Cassidy for the title on November 7th. Back to WWE now, and Andrade wasn't drafted to Raw or SmackDown this week, a move that made a lot of fans question what's going on with the former NXT champion. Apparently, El Idolo was destined for a push under Paul Heyman, but now that Heyman has been ousted as Raw's executive director, Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard have no idea what to do with him. This week, Dave Meltzer noted that Heyman's dismissal was the beginning of the end for Andrade, saying, "Vince never got it with him. Whatever he got was just remnants because Heyman saw him in Mexico and Japan and thought he was top talent, and got him as far as he could. There's a reason when Heyman was ousted, I told everyone Andrade was dead." Andrade was part of what some called the SmackDown Catering Crew, a group of superstars brought from the Blue brand to Raw to be used by Heyman. Now Heyman's gone, and ironically on SmackDown himself, and we'll have to see what the future holds for Andrade in WWE. While it may be worrying that Andrade wasn't drafted to Raw or SmackDown, it's not all bad, as he'll use that extra free time to have surgery. Wrestling Inc. are reporting that the former US champion is set to have a, quote, minor elective procedure, which will keep him out of action for about a month. Time will tell what the future holds for Andrade, and though it's been reported he'll go to Raw, for now, fans shouldn't expect him on any brand for at least a month. Even more Andrade news next, as the free agent has teased a move back to NXT. After posting a thank you tweet, which some fans believed was him saying goodbye to the main roster, Andrade added fuel to the rumor mill by posting a picture of his time on the Gold brand as NXT champion. Whilst PW Insider have previously reported that Andrade will be moved to Raw, especially as his fiancée Charlotte Flair is a Red brand superstar, plans change all the time in WWE, as many superstars know. It's also been reported that Vince McMahon doesn't care about Andrade anymore, and given his success in NXT, and the Gold brand being run by Triple H and not Vince, a return to NXT is more than possible. One person fans can see plenty of is Universal Champion Roman Reigns, who has had harsh words for his upcoming opponent, Braun Strowman. This week, the Tribal Chief appeared on ESPN's First Take to plug the season premiere of SmackDown, as well as this Friday's title match against Strowman, and made his views clear on the monster among men. To be honest, I don't think Braun Strowman deserves this opportunity to face me. I pinned him, I took the Universal Championship, but because of the competitor I am and the top guy that I am, the face of the company, I'm going to hold my obligation and, be accountable, be responsible for being at the very top of the business. Though Strowman is getting his rematch after losing the title at SummerSlam to Bray Wyatt, who lost it a week later to Reigns, we can't help but agree with the Tribal Chief, as his ongoing storyline with Jey Uso is far more interesting than seeing Strowman compete for the gold. With Uso Reigns locked for Hell in a Cell, it's almost guaranteed that Reigns will retain this Friday, and we'll have to see if his cousin makes his presence known during the match. We've got some sad news from the UK next, as Ryan Smile, a high-flying veteran of the UK indie scene, has died. From Birmingham, England, Smile wrestled for around 12 years in the UK before his retirement in 2018, though there's no confirmed cause of death at this time. On Twitter, Session Moth Martina posted a selfie of the two at Happier Times and described Smile as undeniably talented and a major part of the over-the-top wrestling promotion. WWE's Pete Dunne sent his own tribute to Smile, along with a link to The Samaritans, a UK-based service that helps people with whatever troubles they're dealing with. And we at Slatrock would like to send our deepest condolences to Ryan's friends, family, and fans at this awful time. Now, Ronda Rousey sparked a lot of rumors when she was spotted training with Teal Piper, but it looks like fans will be waiting a while to see her return. According to a senior member of Creative who spoke about a possible Rousey return, something I heard tells me that's not true. Rousey's current contract is up in 6 months, and though WWE could freeze and extend her contract, that's a matter between her and the company. As arguably the biggest name in women's combat sports possibly ever, Rousey's return should be treated as a big surprise, so a return at the Rumble could be a possibility for her if WWE can figure something out. Rousey has made no secret about how seriously she's taking the ongoing situation, and with Florida not being the safest place to travel at the moment, it might not be a good idea to put too much money on the former Raw Women's Champion returning in the next few months. And we're ending with the uncomfortable Lita miscarriage angle of 2004, which resulted in Gene Snitsky punting a fake baby into the crowd. On the Two-Man Power Trip podcast, Snitsky explained that his catchphrase, "It wasn't my fault," was a Stephanie McMahon idea, as she produced all his segments at the time. Speaking about the punt heard round the world, Snitsky said, "I can remember Vince saying to me, 'Snitsky, don't f*** this up.' And this is an honest-to-God true story. I looked at him and go, 'Vince, don't you worry, I was already a punter in high school, this is gonna be great.'" We're not sure if great is the word we'd use, but it was an impressive kick. Though thankfully WWE has wisely opted not to have any babies be punted on WWE TV in the years since.